Few conflicts in modern history remain as misunderstood and under-discussed as the Korean War. Often called the Forgotten War, it left millions dead, reshaped the Korean Peninsula, and set the stage for decades of tension in East Asia. How did this war begin? Why did a small, divided country become the battleground for superpowers? And how does a conflict that ended over 70 years ago continue to influence Asia today? In this video, we are going to discuss all these things, so let's start. The roots of the Korean War lie in the division of Korea at the end of World War II. In 1945, after Japan surrendered, Korea was split along the 38th parallel. The Soviet Union occupied the north, establishing a communist government under Kim Il-sung, while the United States occupied the south, supporting a capitalist, democratic government under Syngman Rhee. This division was meant to be temporary, but ideological differences, Cold War tensions, and competing ambitions turned Korea into a frozen front line between East and West. In June 1950, North Korean forces launched a surprise invasion of South Korea, aiming to reunify the peninsula under communist rule. The South, ill-prepared and under-equipped, faced immediate collapse. The United States, fearing the spread of communism in Asia, quickly intervened under the banner of the United Nations. Troops from several countries, including Britain, Canada, Australia, and Turkey, joined the effort, creating a multinational force fighting in a small but strategically vital country. The war quickly escalated into a brutal, seesaw conflict. North Korean forces initially captured Seoul and pushed deep into the south, but UN forces, led by General Douglas MacArthur, launched a daring amphibious landing at Incheon, turning the tide and recapturing much of South Korea. Yet, instead of ending the war, the conflict expanded. Chinese forces entered to support North Korea, fearing the presence of U.S. troops near their border. What had begun as a civil war became a proxy battle between the world as two emerging superpowers, the United States and China, with the Soviet Union providing critical support to the North. The Korean War was marked by intense fighting, massive casualties, and devastating destruction. Cities were leveled, infrastructure destroyed, and civilians caught in the crossfire suffered tremendously. Estimates suggest that over 2 million civilians and combatants died, and millions more were displaced. The war saw the first large-scale use of jet aircraft in combat, extensive bombing campaigns, and a brutal stalemate along the front lines. Yet, despite the scale of destruction, neither side could secure a decisive victory. By 1953, after 3 years of grueling warfare, the conflict ended in an armistice rather than a formal peace treaty. The 38th parallel remained the de facto border, and a heavily fortified demilitarized zone was established, separating North and South Korea. The peninsula was divided politically, economically, and ideologically, a division that persists to this day. Korea had been transformed. The North became a totalitarian, heavily militarized state, while the South gradually rebuilt as a capitalist, industrialized nation. The Korean War's legacy extends far beyond the battlefield. It solidified the Cold War divisions in Asia, influenced U.S. foreign policy for decades, and shaped China's military and diplomatic approach. The war also exposed the limits of military intervention. Superpowers with advanced technology and vast resources were unable to achieve total victory in a small but determined country. It became a lesson in the complexities of local resistance, geography, and nationalism that still resonates in modern conflicts. Today, the Korean Peninsula remains one of the most heavily militarized regions in the world. The armistice is fragile. North Korea's nuclear ambitions dominate regional politics, and the scars of war continue to affect generations of families separated by the border. The Forgotten War may not dominate history books or popular memory, but its consequences continue to shape Asia, global strategy, and the balance of power in ways few other conflicts have. Ultimately, the Korean War reminds us that even small countries can alter the course of global history. It shows the limits of superpower influence, the enduring impact of ideological conflict, and the human cost of political decisions. Understanding this war is essential to understanding modern Asia, the roots of U.S.-China rivalry, and the continuing fragility of peace on the Korean Peninsula. The war may be forgotten in memory, but its echoes continue to shape the world we live in today.